Nice. So we can start. Hello everybody, nice to meet you again.
Hello, Venerable Sir.
Okay, very well. So you can unmute and we can start with 3 precepts. So today we do pronunciation in Sri Lanka or in Myanmar?
I think it's Burmese.
You think it's Burmese? Let me see. So last time actually we did in Burmese. So let's do in Sri Lankan today. So Yamahan Vadami Tang Vadetha.
Pante.
Aham Bhante. Isaranena Saha.
Isanene Saha.
Panchasilang Dhammang Yachami.
Pancasilan Tamanya Chami.
Anugraham Katva.
Kangkatva.
Silang Detame Bhante.
Silang
Anukampang Upad.
Anukampan Upadaya.
Dutiyampi Aham Bhante.
Aham Pante.
Tisaranena Saha.
Isanene Saha.
Panchasilang Dhammang Yachami.
Pancasilan Tamanya Chami.
Anugraham Katva.
Kangkatva.
Silang Detame Bhante.
Kami Pante.
Anukampang Upadaya.
Anukampan Upadaya.
Tatiyampi Aham Bhante.
Aham Pante.
Tisaranena Saha.
Isanene Saha.
Panchasilang Dhammang Yachami.
Pancasilan Tamanya Chami.
Anugraham Katva.
Kangkatva.
Silang Detame Bhante.
Kami Pante.
Anukampang Upadaya.
Anukampan Upadaya.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa.
Buddhang saranang gacchami, dhammang saranang gacchami, sanghang saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami. Tatyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sarana-gamanang paripunnang.
Ama Pante.
So, Yamuna, where did you go? What is the first precept?
First precept is no killing.
Panati pata veramani sikkha padang samadhiyami.
Panati pada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Zoe, what is the second precept?
No lying.
No, wrong.
Oh, wait, no stealing.
Adinadana sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Dinadana Veramani Sikhapadan Samadhyami.
So, Tenza, what is the third precept?
No, don't. How do you say it again?
Have to say it again.
No cheating,
To
but
say it right.
didn't you say that there's a certain way you wanted us to say it?
Yeah, third. What is the third precept?
No cheating, right? But
It's the other way. So, Tiri, what is the third precept?
Some adultery.
No adultery, no cheating. Okay. Kame sumichachara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kame Sumichachara Veramani Sikhapadan Samadhyami.
You can actually say no sexual misconduct and it's also fine. It's just that it's a little difficult to understand what that means without explanation. So, Emily, what is the fourth precept?
No lying.
Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Savada Veramani Sikhapadan Samadhyami.
Andrea, what is the fifth precept?
No taking drugs or alcohol.
Can you speak louder?
No drinking alcohol. No drinking drugs or alcohol.
Okay. Sura meraya machapamadatthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Ramayam.
Ramayam Japamadachana Veramani Sikhapadan Samadhyami.
Tisaranena saddhing panchasilang dhammang sathukang surakkhitam katva appamadena sampadetham.
Bhante.
Okay, so let's do meditation and okasa together because there are still some things to explain. And we will get to the stories right away. So we have Andre here. So Andre, what is? Can you tell us story 97?
Oh,
Remember to start with the story name.
okay. A handful of Jataka 97, a handful of seeds.
You will have to speak very loudly because I can see a lot of people behind me.
Jataka 97, a handful of seeds. Once there was
a handful of seeds.
a handful of seeds.
Okay, yes, speak as loud as you can.
Once there was a group of bhikkhus talking about another certain bhikkhu that possessed a terrible temper, and when the Buddha overheard this, he sent the bhikkhus for him. And after being asked, the bhikkhu admitted that he had a short fuse. The Buddha told that this was not the first time, and in the past he was born as a prince named Brahmadatta. And when he turned 16, he was sent to a famous school to continue his studies. While he excelled at his education, he was not very honest and took an old lady's seeds over a 3-day period. The teacher found out about this and he beat him with a stick 3 times for every day he stole, and the student held a grudge for a very long time until he was king. The teacher so the king invited the teacher, and then the teacher told him that if he did not wait if he did not correct him, he would be a thief. And he would not be the king. So the king apologized, and the teacher became the royal advisor.
Okay, thank you. So next is story 103 by Emily.
Jataka 103. Monkeying around. Once there was a buffalo and a monkey. The buffalo was patient while the monkey was playful. The monkey would play on the buffalo, but the buffalo was patient, so he didn't do anything. One day there were 2 buffaloes, so the monkey accidentally picked the wrong buffalo, so he got trampled on. The end.
Oh wow, that's pretty bad. Yeah, but this is the typical Asian style. In Asia, people are so patient, okay? And then they kill you. They remove you from the place where you are, or they fire you from the job, or somehow they remove you if you do not realize that you're doing something wrong. While they tell you nothing, they will not tell you that you're doing something wrong. You have no idea. And if you don't realize it, sorry, bye bye. And then they will never talk with you again. And if it is in like a relationship, like with your friends or so, then they will just stop contacting you, and they will not listen to your whatever you say, and they will not speak with you anymore in your life. No more. So that's the Asian style. Asian people do not like to communicate what's the problem, you know? So you have no idea what's the problem, so you never get better. So that's a little difficult here. But that also puts some pressure on you, because you have to be more mindful of what are you doing. You have to be more careful about what are the consequences of your actions. So it has, the advantage that you need to be more careful about yourself, but the disadvantage is that if you're not careful, well, then nobody will tell you. Okay? So that's typically Asian style. In the US, if you do something wrong, immediately, it's wrong. Like that. Not in Asia. Not in Asia. Okay, May is not here. Denza, 105.
Jataka 105.
Yeah,
Stealing
please
luck.
speak loudly. Okay, I have here people around me talking, so it's a little difficult.
Jataka 105. Stealing luck. Once a Brahmin tried to steal luck from a rich man, but when he tried to, the luck went to different things, and then went to the wife's head. The Brahmin gave up and left, so the man went to ask the Buddha what happened. So the Buddha told a story of the past. Once there was a wood gatherer that saw chickens talking about how if someone ate them, they would be king. The wood gatherer caught the chicken and decided to do a ritual bath before eating the chicken, but the chicken floated down the river, and an elephant trader took it, and a monk split it, and then he soon became the king.
So the person who wanted to sacrifice the chicken later became a king?
What happened was there was these chickens that were talking, like betting, like if someone eats me, they'll get 1,000 coins, or if someone eats me, they'll be the king or queen, and all that stuff. And then the wood gatherer overheard this, and then he killed the chicken, and then he was gonna do like this ritual bath, but then the water took the chicken, and then it floated down the river, and an elephant trainer found it, so he was gonna eat it, and a monk split it for them, and they all ate it. Then he
So the wood gatherer and also the elephant trainer ate the chicken.
No, the wood gatherer didn't get to eat it because the water took it away down the river.
So the elephant trainer ate the chicken.
Yeah.
So then the elephant trainer actually became the king. So what did you learn from that story? So
It's called feeling luck, but
I see that. Yeah, it's about luck. I see. I think the main point here is that it's not worth it. You know, killing others is not worth it for your luck. In the end, you may suffer and lose it anyway. And the person who has killed the chicken has got the bad deed of killing the chicken. So for next, let's say 500 lives, he will be born as a chicken and he will be killed. And moreover, he doesn't become the king. So it was not worth it. You see? So hankering after luck, it's not good. The Buddha explains that there are two kinds of lay people. The lay people, the lotus lay people, and then the slave lay people. Lotus lay people, they have faith, they follow precepts, like 5 precepts. They do not believe in astrology, and these predictions. They do not believe in superstition. Do you know what's superstition? Didi, any idea what superstition? Do you know what's that? And Andre, you know what is it? Superstition, you see number 7 again and again and you feel, oh, I'm lucky. And then you see number 13 again and again and you think, oh, I'm unlucky. So what if you live in a room number 13? Or what if you live on the floor number 13? So you will have to be unlucky all the time. But do all people who live in the floor number 13 are always unlucky? No. So there's some problem, right? Okay, so that's superstition. And then supporting monks of other religion than of the Buddha's teachings. So so the one who's the lotus lay person, so he has faith, follows precepts, doesn't believe predictions, doesn't believe superstitions, and supports the Buddhist monks more than other monks. The slave lay person does not have faith, does not follow precepts, believes in astrology and predictions, believes in superstitions, and also supports other monks or ascetics from non-Buddhist religions more than those from Buddhism. So it doesn't mean that you should support only Buddhist monks. The Buddha didn't say that. But the idea is that very devoted layperson in Buddhism will obviously support the Buddhist monks more than he supports the other monks. Because giving is good regardless who it is. Always you can give. Regardless whether the person is evil or good or clever or foolish, whether they so-called deserve it or not, it's always good to give. All right? But if you give to somebody who's virtuous, who doesn't kill, steal, commit adultery, tell lies, or drink alcohol, well, then the merit, the consequence later is bigger than if you give it to somebody who breaks the rules. Okay, so that is my point, that you should not try to hanker after luck, because then you would be the slave layperson. Yes, Yamona?
You skipped my story.
I don't think so.
I got 102 again.
I see. I skipped your story, but I didn't skip you. Do you know what I mean? Because I have you according to alphabet in the list, and I'm going according to alphabet. So actually the order is always the same. So first always comes Andrea, then Emily, then May, then Tenza, then Tiri, then Valentina, then you, then Zoe. Okay? So I actually did not skip your story. We're not going according to story. We're going according to your names. Okay? So that was stanza. Now what about Tiri? 106.
I forgot to find 106.
What's the name?
I'm looking.
Yeah, you need to write
I
place
can't
at the top
remember.
of the summary so that you don't need to search it. Okay. So first you write the number, the name of the jataka, and then you write the summary. Okay, Tiri, I'm listening.
Once a bhikkhu fell in love with a girl. The mother
You need to
tricked
speak
him
loud
into
because there are
loving.
people around me and it's a little.
Once a bhikkhu fell in love with a girl. The mother tricked him into falling in love. The Buddha told him it was not the first time it happened. After that, he stayed as a monk.
Oh, that's all what you wrote?
Not much.
That's definitely not much. What happened in the past life?
Um,
Ideally, you include
thinking.
the present life and also the past life. All right?
Oh, I remember. In the past life, they were fattening a pig so that the pig could be killed fat, and then one of the horses was jealous, and then the other horse said that the pig's going to be slaughtered because they're fattening him for a wedding party.
Oh, so horses took a pig to a wedding party?
No, someone fed him so he'd be fat so they could slaughter him for a wedding party.
I see,
And then
and the
the
horses
horses
knew
were
about it.
jealous. Well, one of the horses was jealous, and the other one told him not to be because they're going to be slaughtered.
So how is this connected to the monk who fell in love with the girl?
The monk was the jealous horse.
And who was the girl?
I think the pig. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Okay. So 107, Valentina is not here. So 102 from Yamuna.
Pitaka 102, the Kuru virtue. The Brahmins from the country that suffer from drought and poverty asked the Kuru virtue from the king Bodhisattva in order to save their country. The king was not satisfied with his Kuru virtue and told them to request it from the queen mother. The Brahmins told the king that we will ask your queen mother, but please give us your own Kuru virtue. The queen mother wasn't happy with her Kuru virtue and said just as the king did. Next, the Brahmins went to the queen, who said the same thing as the king said, and told them to get it from the crown prince. The prince couldn't give it to them, the Kuru virtue, and asked them to get it from the advisor. They went to the advisor, the surveyor, the charioteer, the treasurer, the royal granaries, the gatekeeper, the courtesan, and asked for the Kuru virtue. All these royal people told them that they broke the Kuru virtue in some way without intention. However, the Brahmins still got the Kuru virtue from them all. The king of the Kalinga finally was able to practice the Kuru virtue on his own. They made the rain fall and the whole country escaped from starvation, disease, and poverty. After the Buddha concluded the story and taught the Dhamma, many bhikkhus became enlightened.
Very nice, very nice. So the idea of the story is actually that if the leaders of the community, if they follow the 5 precepts, then the community will be happy. Is that right?
Yeah.
Something like that, or safe, protected. Good, nice. And Zui, 108.
Jataka 108, The Wishing Cup. A man was born into a wealthy family. He inherited his father's business. He shared his wealth, then died and was reborn as Saka. His son squandered the inheritance on self-indulgence. Saka gave his son a wishing cup, which made him rich again. However, the son broke the cup, fell into poverty, lost purpose, and eventually died.
So what happened with the cup?
Well, the son was throwing it into the air, and then he didn't catch it, and then it broke on the floor, and then he couldn't use it again.
So why did the cup go? Oh, he threw it in the air.
Yeah,
Why did he throw it in the air?
because he was bored.
Because he was what?
He was bored, I think.
He was bored.
Yeah.
So then the cup broke, and he then was hungry, and he died by hunger.
No, yeah, no, all of his friends left him when the wishing cup broke, and then he fell into poverty and then eventually died. He fell into poverty, laid on a wall, and then died.
So the main point of this story, actually, and it's actually well known in Myanmar, is that if you have a lot of money, you will have friends. And those are not friends who are with you because of your good character or because you're nice or because you're clever, but because of money. So it's very important that you make friends who are with you because of your character, because you're clever, because you're nice, and not because you have money. Okay, that's a very important lesson. So he probably also felt, that he needs to have money in order that his friends are with him, and he maybe also realized that all friends he has are with him only because of money and not because of anything else. So as soon as he got poor, he had nobody to support him, and so he died. So you need to have friends who like your character, who like you, rather than your money. And it becomes a little more difficult when you get a wife or a husband, because it's necessary that they are with you because of you and not because of your money. Because if they're with you because of money, well, then it's a lot of suffering as soon as you have problems in your business. Okay, so I'll call up the teenagers. Yes, Tenza can also call Sandy and Yaza.
Already did.
So we can sit in a comfortable meditation posture right away. Iri, what can I do for you?
Before we start meditation, I have a question. If you could please answer it.
Okay, what is it?
Since coffee is a drug, is it against the precepts to have coffee?
Coffee is a drug, but it doesn't reduce your mindfulness, and therefore it is fine to drink it. But you need to remember you need to remember the value of your health, and so you do not drink it too much, and you do not drink it too much too often, so that you don't become addicted. Because then you will have a lot of suffering as soon as you do not get coffee. You see? I didn't get coffee for 10 years. I'm not suffering. You see? But there are people who don't get coffee for 2 hours and they're suffering. Okay? So you don't want that suffering, you know. But it's not breaking the precept. Yes? Is it clear? Didi?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it's clear. Sorry, I didn't know you were talking.
Alright, so let's sit in a comfortable meditation posture. I'm wondering if some more teenagers than Sandy will be coming. Maybe they thought they're coming a little later.
My sister needs to use the bathroom.
Yasa is on the way?
Yes, and my sister needs to use the bathroom.
Okay. Your sister needs to use she's at the bathroom. I see. Okay, no problem. So maybe let's wait a few minutes. I will do attendance. So today we are missing May and Valentina, right? Okay, both of them actually did their homework. Alright, attendance is done. And I think we can start. So make sure your back is erect, side cast down. And we can make the first determination in our minds voicelessly. So I'm waiting for Thiri to sit in her posture. I think you're good with the...
Like to use.
Thiri, you just need to sit and meditate.
Oh, I was asking if I could please use the restroom.
Great. And we can make the first determination in our minds voicelessly. From now on, for 15 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. From now on, for 15 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. From now on, for 15 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. And with that determination, we can gently, lovingly notice the flat piece of flesh at the top of the head. We allow it to be heavy and changing. We continue in this manner to the forehead, eyes, nose, lips, chin, cheeks, ear, back of the head. We allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the head to be heavy and changing. We continue to the neck, shoulders, arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, palms, fingers, tips of fingers, chest, abdomen, back, we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the upper part of the body to be heavy and changing. We continue to the buttocks, thighs, knees, calves, heels, soles, toes, tips of toes, we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the body to be heavy and changing. And we allow all of the body parts to be changing. And as we allow the body to be the way it is, as we give the body the freedom to be the way it is, we ourselves achieve freedom from worry about the body. Let's enjoy this freedom. Let's watch this peace. Now, as we have established ourselves in peace, we can share it with other living beings. We will start in our row. We don't force, we don't expect, we just allow. May all beings in this row be in peace. May all beings in this row be in peace. And we can gradually expand our loving kindness. May all beings in this building be in peace. May all beings in this city or village be in peace. May all beings in this country be in peace. May all beings on this continent be in peace. May all beings on this planet be in peace. May all beings, including me, be in peace. And we are curious about the relationship between the mind and the object of permission, that all beings, including us, are in peace. So what is that relationship? Is it a close relationship? Or is it a distant relationship? Is it an easy or difficult relationship? You're curious and watch the mind. May all beings, including me, be in peace. Now, because the time for the sitting is finished, we will make the last determination in our minds voicelessly. From now on, I will always be calm. From now on, I will always be calm. From now on, I will always be calm. And with that determination, we can slowly, mindfully change the way of our sitting. Okay, good. So now we'll take one more minute, during which we will be watching what's going on in the mind. If you notice any feelings or seeing or hearing or thought, we will curiously watch what's going on. Okay, very well. So you can come closer to your cameras. We will move on a little in our Okasa recitation. Does everybody have their notebook? If you have it, show it to me in the camera. Nice. Diri is ready. Almo is ready.
I forgot a pencil.
Okay. Good. Yamona has her notebook. Emily is back also. So we are waiting for Denza and Andre and Zoe. So we are still waiting for Andre. Yes, Denza, I can see your notebook. You can put it down. Whenever you're coming for our class, make sure you have your notebook with you. Especially if I'm late, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you have plenty of time to go and take your notebook if you forgot it. Sunday will be using docs, okay. So we're still waiting for Andre. Okay, so let's get into it right away. So we'll start with English again, and then to Burmese. So you can all unmute yourself. So you can keep your hands together at the chest. And you can repeat after me. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me.
Excuse me,
Excuse me,
excuse me,
excuse me,
excuse me.
excuse me.
In order that all of the faults, sabbadosa,
In order
In
In
that
order that
order
all
that
the
all of
faults,
the faults of
Sabadosa,
Badosa
done by body, kaya, kamma,
Done
done
by
by
done
by
by
body,
body
body,
Kaya
Kaya
Kama,
speech, vachi, kamma,
speech, but
speech,
speech,
Vachi Kama,
Vachikama,
or mind, mano, kamma, disappear.
or
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 mind,
mind
mind,
Mano Kama
Manogama,
disappear.
disappear.
For the first time, for the second time, for the third time, patamad,
For
for
the
the
For the
first
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 time,
time,
for the
time, for the
second time,
second
for
time,
the
time,
for the
for
third
the
third
third
time,
time,
Patamatia
time,
Tatia,
completing 3 times, I respectfully and humbly
completing three
completing three
times,
completing
times,
three
I
I
times, I
respectfully
respectfully and
respectfully and
humbly
humbly
pay respect and
respect,
worship to the jewel of Buddha and pay respect and worship the jewel of Buddha,
pay
pay respect and
respect and
worship the
I
worship
jewel of
respect and
Buddha,
worship the jewel of Buddha,
the jewel of Dhamma, the teachings,
the jewel
the
of
jewel of
Dhamma, the
the
Dhamma, the
teaching,
jewel of
teachings,
Dhamma, the teachings,
and the jewel of Sangha, the community of monks,
and the
and the
jewel of
jewel
and
of
the
Sangha, the
jewel
Sangha,
of
the
community of monks,
Samhita,
community
the community of monks,
the 3 jewels, Venerable Sir.
the three
the
jewels,
three
venerable sir.
jewels, Venerable Sir.
Due to the intentional action, Kamma Chetana,
due
Due to
to
the
Due to the
intentional act of
intentional
action,
act of
Kamachan
Kama
Dhamma,
Jana
Chetana,
and goodness of paying respect,
and
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 goodness of
goodness
goodness
paying
of
respect.
paying
respect,
respect,
may I be liberated and free from all
may I be
may
I
I
be
be
liberated and
liberated and
liberated
free
free
and
from
from
free
all
all
from all
4 realms of woe,
four realms
four
four
of
realms
realms
of
of
woe,
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 3 periods of disaster,
three
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 periods
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 of
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 disaster,
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 the 8 wrong destinations.
the
the
eight
the
eight
wrong
wrong
eight wrong
destinations.
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 Okay, so now let's move on to Burmese. Ogata, ogata, ogata.
Kata o, kata o,
Kayakam wasikam manokam
kayakang wasikan manokan,
Tabbadota
padota,
Kataindo apieto
nito,
Pyaupa se chin ajo nga
pasichin at chunga,
Patama dutiya tataya
patatiya tatya,
Tajain najain tong jain miao ang
jane dung, jane nya ang,
Thea yatana Taya yatana Tangha yatana
yayadana, tiyayadana, tangayadana,
Yatana Myatong Paduko
yadana, myatu, pagtoko,
Ayu ate ali amyat
ayu ati ali amya,
Let o mo yue shiko puzo
na omujui shiko puzo,
Pu myo man shot
umemonsho,
Pu myo man shot
umemonsho,
Gadopa i shenfia
dopa I ashempia,
Gadoya do
yadon,
Cao mu can se dana do jao
kansidna,
Cao mu can
kamukan,
se dana do jao
sidna tutan,
Apeliba
Bezilba,
Katompa
Gatompa,
Yapyeshipa
Yatashipa,
Yandu myu ngaba
Dompa,
Wipati dayaliba Wipati daya
Ya,
Liba
Diba,
Vyatana daya
Yutanupia,
Ngaba Anamyo Koze chapa Mesa deiti Chause nepa Duhma Akakateng Ken Nien di Pye yue Yes, even though you don't know what that means, you need to try, and then later you get habit. So as you try, you gradually Metaya, Potaya, Neiban, Chanda, Diado,
Yado,
Myaku,
Yaku,
Yaya Paloi,
Yadringo,
Ishenfeya.
Ya,
Very well. So today we're going to look at the 8 wrong destinations. Just to remind you, we're looking at 4 realms of woe, which are the world of hell, animals, ghosts, and the ugly deities, the asuras, who decided not to drink alcohol anymore. And then we have the 3 periods of disaster, the disaster of hunger or famine, the disaster of war, and what else? The disaster of disease. and today we are going to look at the 8 wrong destinations. So take your notebooks and you can write your date. Today for you in the US is August 19, 2023. Make sure you write it on a new page. You need to get to the first new page you have in your notebook. At the top left corner, you can write August 19, 2023. Have you got it? August 19, 2023, and under that as a little heading you can write the 8 wrong destinations. Okay. So what will be the wrong destinations? Number 1, birth in hell. Number 2, birth as an animal. So these are like worlds where you may get after you die. So these are wrong destinations where you don't want to get after you die. Some of them you may experience already in this life, but some of them you can get only after you die. So birth in hell, birth as an animal, birth as a ghost. Then number 4 is birth as a non-percipient Brahma. Okay? So who here knows or understands what is a non-percipient Brahma? Raise your hand. Nobody? No idea, even a little bit? So okay, Amal has heard of that? Amal, what is your idea? What do you remember?
Well, I know a little bit of it. It's like, let's say you have like a body, but you don't have a mind.
That's right, that's right. So non-percipient Brahmas are very highly positioned, very powerful beings who, however, cannot use any of their power because there is only body and no mind. So it's a little bit funny. However, in order that they are born in such a high world and they can have such a long life, because the life is extremely long. It's like being asleep, you know, for 500 world periods. So now you know that this world, according to scientists, have appeared several billions of years ago, and there are still many billions years to come. So that's one world time. And this non-percipient being is sleeping for 500 world times. So that's a long time. Okay, that's a long time. But they're just sleeping, they know nothing. They cannot speak, they cannot hear, they cannot know, nothing. Just sleeping. Yes, Yamona?
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
They think it's good. I think it is not. So you see, we will not agree with each other. But when they're sleeping, they cannot disagree with me because they're sleeping.
I have a question.
Yes,
Do they
Andre?
do they get nightmares or dreams because
No,
they
no, no,
have?
no, no. No mind there. There is no mind that could get dreams.
Oh, I don't
It's
think
the
it would
deep
be
sleep. Sorry?
if they're in a deep sleep, wouldn't the 500 worlds go like very quickly? Because when you sleep, you wait. So then, how does it work? It's like you have no mind. So how do you tell the time? Because by the time you go to your next life, it's not gonna really be there. Because while you're asleep, the time just goes by because your brain's not working. Thus, you cannot remember. Thus, you cannot think.
That's
So,
right.
do you even experience it? Does this mean that one of your past lives could be it? But even if you remember one of your past life, you don't remember because it would just be sleeping, and
Yeah,
actually, it
it's a
wouldn't.
little bit of time traveling. Yeah. Time traveling. 500 world cycles in the future. Yeah, when you go to sleep at night, You wake up after 8 hours. So what do you remember from your 8 hours if we don't count the dreams into that? Nothing, right? But do you remember the time before you went to sleep? So there was a monk in the, I think his name was Samidhi, and there was a monk in the Buddha's time, and he came up to his friends and he said, you know what, I remember the last 500 cycles of the world. And the monks say, what is this nonsense? You're telling lie. So they came up to the Buddha and they said, oh Buddha, this monk certainly is telling lie. He is saying that he remembers 500 cycles of the world into the past. And the Buddha says, no monks, he was actually a non-percipient being for 500 cycles of the world. So he is not telling a lie. He remembers the time before he was born as this being, that is 500 cycles ago. So that's what he remembers. So he remembers the time when he was born, after he died as the non-percipient being, you know, his lay life, his monk life or lay life, the last life, when he then became, I think he became an arahant at that time. And he remembers the life before the previous one, you know, when he died and was born as the non-percipient being. But from the birth or from the appearance, they're not really born. From the appearance of from the time the non-percipient being is appeared until the moment the non-percipient being dies after those 500 cycles of world, the non-percipient being knows nothing. But the idea is that this body is not so bad if there is no mind that could feel pain. And so there are ascetics in India who believe that if you can get rid of mind, that you can get rid of all suffering. And so they meditate and meditate, they achieve very deep levels of concentration, and then they decide, so may there be no mind. Because the body really is not a problem is the mind that causes the suffering. And because of this wrong idea, and because of their very ardent practice and high virtue, they are born in this Brahma world and their wish is fulfilled. Indeed, they have no mind. But it's a wrong idea. And so after those 500 cycles of the world, they anyway get born somewhere else, such as humans or as God, and later even as animals or even in hell. So,
Wait, I have a question.
yes? Emily raised her hand first. What can I do for you, Emily?
Can I go get another pencil because this pencil broke?
Yes, please, of course. Andre?
I have a question. Do you like get any do you get any gamma from your non-percipient light Brahma life?
Not from the non-percipient life, because there is no way how you could have intention, and only intention is the basis for kamma. So without intention you cannot have kamma, there is no intention, so there is no kamma. But there is kamma from the time before. So before this non-percipient being was appeared as a non-percipient being, he meditated or she meditated, you know, and very deeply in meditation. And they had a little bit of, actually a lot of wrong view. So after that life of non-percipient being, if they still continue to have that wrong view, well, that's a lot of suffering. So that could take them pretty down. So that's why we call it a wrong destination. So you're now learning 8 wrong destinations. Today you're learning 4 of them. So the 4th wrong destination, the world of Brahmas, or who don't have perception, is wrong because you cannot practice the Buddha's teachings there. Yes, Andre?
Okay, so wait, what happens if the karma affects you while you're non-percipient Brahman?
The karma is affecting you by making you a non-percipient Brahma.
Yeah, but like
of your karma.
like
It's the result of your meditation practice.
Like during the 500 world cycles, do you experience any karma or do you just...
There is no mind that could experience it. There's a huge body that's sleeping for 500 cycles continuously.
Does the body experience the karma? Because then you could just skip all that karma.
You could skip karma. No, that doesn't work. The body is just sleeping for 500 cycles, and whatever is the karma from the previous lives, that will bring result after that.
So there's no point.
After the non-percipient being dies and is born as something else that is percipient.
So basically, there's no use to it.
Totally useless.
Because-
Correct. Just
Well,
time, 500 world cycles. Okay, so seems like you have understood. Any questions about this? This is all what we will be going through today with the preteens. Seems like this is clear. Thank you for coming. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you be successful in everything you do.
goodbye, Venerable.
Goodbye, Venerable Sir.
Bye, Venerable Sir.
Nice, very good. So it seems like we get Florence, right? Am I correct? You're Florence? Hello? You haven't been here for a long time, right?
Yes.
I didn't see you for a long time. Let me see. How's your situation? Florence. Oh, Florence, seems like you're disqualified. Did you send me your homeworks from the previous times? Where did you send them?
In Viber.
I don't see. I don't hear you. Speak loudly.
In Viber.
In Viber. Let me see. Oh, there is. Okay. Okay. Excellent. Very good. So, you can unmute yourself. I'll give you 3 refuges, 5 precepts. Today, let's do Sri Lankan pronunciation. So I'm waiting for Sandy and Caitlin to unmute. You can keep your hands together at the chest. Yamahang vadami tang vadetha. Yes, please kindly talk loudly so that I know that something's happening. Aham bhanti tisaranena saha panchasilang dhammang yachami anuggahang katva silang detha me bhante anukampang upadaya dutiyampi aham bhante tisaranena saha panchasilang dhammang yachami anuggahang katva silang detha me bhante anukampang upadaya tatiyampi aham bhante tisaranena saha panchasilang dhammang yachami anuggahang katva silang detha me bhante anukampang upadaya Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddhang saranang gacchami, dhammang saranang gacchami, sanghang saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranang gacchami, dhammang saranang gacchami, sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi buddham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi sangham saranam gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi dhammam saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi sangham saranam gacchami.
Saranaгаmanang paripunnang
Amma Bande.
panati. Okay, so Alma, what is the first precept?
No killing.
Panati pata vera manisikha padang samadhiyami. Florence, what is the second precept?
Not stealing.
Perfect. Adinna dana vera manisikha padang samadhiyami. Yasa, what is the third precept?
No adultery.
Or you can say no sexual misconduct.
Yeah.
Kame sumichhachara vera manisikha padang samadhiyami. Caitlin, what is the fourth precept?
No drinking.
Excuse me?
No drinking.
No, that's wrong. What could it be?
It's the last piece.
See if you can remember. Try to know from your memory. Something else. It's not drinking, so something.
No lying.
No lying, that's right. Musavada vera manisikha padang samadhiyami. So, Sandy, what is the fifth precept?
No drugs or alcohol.
Surameraya majjapamada thana vera manisikha padang samadhiyami. Okay. Tisaranena sadhing panchasilang dhammang sadhukang surakhitang katva appamadena sampadetham. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you soon attain the eternal bliss of Nibbana. So let's get to the stories. So we have, so let's start with Aumau today, 5:11. Always read the name of the story and then the summary.
I'm still getting my notes.
Okay. So I'm trying my best, but I still have some background noise here. So please speak loudly.
My computer's like loading really slowly for some reason.
Excuse me?
My computer is loading really slowly.
Okay, so let's move on to Caitlin right away, 5:12.
It's loading, but it should load in a few seconds or minutes.
Okay, so next.
Okay, I got it.
Got it? Okay.
Yes. So 5:12 is the snake ghost and the crow ghost.
Sorry.
One day,
Snake ghost and the crow ghost?
yes.
Okay.
One day, the venerable elder Lakana and the venerable elder
Moggallana the Great descended from the Vulture Peak with the intention of making an alms pilgrimage in Rajaga. The venerable elder Moggallana the Great saw the snake ghost and smiled, but didn't explain to the elder Lakana why until they sat with the Buddha. When they were in the presence of the Buddha, the elder started explaining that he saw a snake ghost and a crow ghost both the length of 25 leagues. Another time, Moggallana saw a crow ghost while enduring torment on the summit of Vulture Peak. Curious, he asked the crow ghost what deed he did to meet such suffering, at which he said he ate food brought to a company of monks. While Moggallana was explaining the story of the ghost, the Buddha told the other monks that what Moggallana said was the truth as he attained enlightenment when he saw the crow ghost. Then the Buddha explained the story of the snake ghost. At the end, the Buddha explained that an evil deed is like milk, as it isn't milk when drawn from a cow, but when it is ripened, it brings such sufferings like this.
Excuse me, one more time. What's this thing with the milk?
So at the end, the Buddha explained that an evil deed is like milk, as it isn't like milk when it's drawn from a cow, but once the milk ripens, it's like bringing the sufferings like the crow ghost had to go through.
I see. So, is there some description of the crow ghost and the snake ghost, how they look like?
Yes, there is. So the snake ghost is basically, his head was a head of a human, while the rest of his body was that of a snake. Yes, and for the crow ghost, I'm not very sure that there is a description of him, because it says in the story that he was a crow and then he died because he stole food from the monks and then became a crow ghost. So what I'm assuming is that he still has a body of a crow, but just has to go through torment.
I will probably have picture of that. Let me see. I think I have seen it. Oh, there it is. I may not have. I don't see the crow. I don't see the crow, but I see the snake. It's drawn by Burmese. I don't really know where I got that picture from. But, you know, I have. Yes, I see from Snow. So I have got this picture from one Burmese lady. So I'll share with you the screen so you see how the snake ghost looks like. Can you see my screen? Somebody tell me, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Can you see the snake ghost?
Yes.
Yes. Do you think it's similar to the description in the book?
Yes, it's very similar.
It's very similar. That's good. Now let me help me find and see if I have the crow ghost. So I have also this one, but that probably is not it, right? Those are some other.
No.
Also not yet. What about this one? No.
No.
And what about this?
Probably not.
Probably not. So in the crow ghost look like a crow?
Yeah, that's what it says, because when it explains the story of the past of the crow ghost, it explains how when he was a crow, he filled his mouth with some rice from the monks.
Nice.
So I'm assuming that he is still a crow when he's a crow ghost.
Yeah. These are definitely so-called graphic pictures, and indeed they are graphics but these are most of that. What I'm showing you are actually pictures of the ghosts described in our scriptures, so you can understand that we have a lot of them. You know, like here are two. They're totally different. They're not like related stories. They're like just some how to say that. They're like just two totally different stories put into together so that it makes up one picture. And here we have another one. So these are ghosts that were seen by Venerable Moggallana. Here's one. Oh, that's separate. It looks pretty bad, like in the beginning, but when you get used to it, it's not so special anymore. So these are the different ghosts. Usually they're ghosts like this for one way or another breaking the 5 precepts. So if you follow 5 precepts, then you'll probably avoid this kind of situation. So I probably don't have it. Maybe it's not that famous. Okay, so this is not hell yet. This is just the ghost world. Hell is much worse. What could be much worse, right? Okay, so let's continue. Mom. So you have read to us the summary from 12. 512 is the snake ghost and 513 is the crow ghost?
Oh, no. The crow ghost and the snake ghost are one story. I still have another story to read.
Yeah. Can you tell me, so what did the crow ghost do in the previous life?
In his previous life, when he was a crow, he went and like took some rice from
the monks. And the snake?
As for the snake ghost, so the snake ghost is a bit more confusing, but when he was a human, he went to the bank of a river that was for a private Buddha, and while the private Buddha was in his residence, they would take perfume and garlands and they would go give it to the private Buddha. However, there was one certain resident that went to go do service for the private Buddha, but they trampled his field. And when the private Buddha had entered the city for the alms, a farmer broke all of his vessels for eating and drinking and then set fire to the leaves in the grass. So when the private Buddha saw that, he basically said, like, why did this happen? And the farmer also decided to leave. So then everybody in town was like, this guy burned down all the grass and broke all the glasses and cups of the private Buddha. So let's go ahead and seize him. So then he was reborn in hell. And then after suffering hell, he was reborn on the Vulture Peak as a snake ghost.
I see. Okay. Thank you. So what about the second story?
So 15.3 is the sledgehammer ghost. And this story is in the exact same circumstances as the snake ghost and the crow ghost. So Elder Lakana smiled again while descending from the Vulture Peak.
Probably Venerable Moggallana smiled, right?
Yes.
And Elder Lakana was wondering about it.
Yes. And then when they were in the presence of the Buddha, Moggallana explained that he saw a ghost 3/4 of a league in height, and there were 60,000 sledgehammers falling and rising uninterruptedly on top of his head, and the sledgehammers kept breaking his skull, and his skull would keep springing up again. So the Buddha, listening to the elder's story, said that he also saw this creature as he sat on the throne of enlightenment. Then the Buddha started telling the story about the stone thrower and his people.
So what did he do in the past life?
So basically in Benares, there was a cripple who used to sit under a city gate under a tree and would sling stones that cut the leaves of the tree. So the boys of the city would tell that guy to make an elephant out of those cut leaves or make a horse out of the cut leaves. And he would make every single animal those kids would ask him to make. And as a reward, he would be given food to eat. So one day, the king was on his way to a garden, and he came across this guy sitting under this tree. And the king stopped and went in among the roots of the tree, and he asked the guy, "What does this mean, and whose work this is?" And when he was informed that it was the cripple, he sent for him and said that he has a house priest who is excessively talkative, and asked him if he could throw a pint pot of goat's dung into his mouth. So then the cripple made a hole in the curtain with the tip of a knife, and while the house priest talked to the king, the cripple decided to throw a pellet of goat's dung whenever the priest opened his mouth. So then the king understood that by this time the goat's dung was completely gone because the cripple shook the curtain, which meant that was a signal that there's no more goat's dung to throw in his mouth. So then the Brahmin became silent, and from there on he never opened his mouth again to talk to the king. So from there on, the king remembered the work of the cripple and summoned him and said, "Through you, I have gained happiness." And as a reward to the cripple, he gave him the 8-fold gifts, 4 fine, large villages, and so then after that, the cripple wait, this is wrong. So then he was reborn in hell. Well, no, the king was reborn in hell because of doing this deed. So then he suffered torment, and because of this, he was reborn on a vulture peak as a sledgehammer ghost.
Oh, so the king was born in hell. So what exactly the king did wrong? That he like
I
ordered...
think it was the king. Let me see here. This man. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was the cripple, because the cripple, after he did the deed for the king, he was throwing stones at different animals, which then the private Buddha saw, and was extremely mad that he was tormenting animals with stones which could hurt them. So then he was reborn in hell, and then as a sledgehammer ghost.
Wait, so what? I don't understand. So what happened? So there was a Buddha, and the cripple was throwing stones at the animals, and then?
So then the private Buddha saw this, and he obviously got mad seeing the cripple throwing stones at animals. So when the private Buddha was walking by, the cripple accidentally threw this stone at the private Buddha's ear, which then the stone came out of the other ear of the private Buddha. So then he suffered intense pain and passed into Nibbana. So then the villagers found out that this man threw a stone and basically kind of made the Buddha pass into Nibbana. So they beat him up, and then he was reborn in hell.
The people beat the cripple up.
Yes. And then he was reborn in hell, and then after hell, he was reborn as a sledgehammer ghost.
I see. Could not be accidentally. Even if the text believes it's accidentally, then it cannot be, because if it is accidentally, it actually doesn't count as any kamma. So it must have been, intentionally. Maybe the text is trying to reduce the severity, but it must have been intentionally, otherwise there is no kamma without the intention. avoid saying that private Buddha was mad. Okay, we don't do that. You can say the private Buddha was disappointed, or you can say, even more accurate, he disapproved of it. That's very, very polite. Okay, otherwise there's bad karma for you, so be careful. When you're talking about private Buddhas, about arahants, every word needs to be very carefully tailored, you know. Otherwise, if you say something that could be insulting or unpleasant, that could be a very bad karma for you. So, whenever we speak about the Buddha, the private Buddha or arahants, we don't say that they get mad or angry. We don't say that that they were wrong or whatever. We try to find, you know, some other words that are very polite and kind, you know. So we can say, oh, they didn't do it in accordance with the customs. That would be a different way of saying that they were wrong. You know what I mean? It's a careful saying. And for example, if a private Buddha disapproved of something, you say, so the private Buddha did not agree that the cripple was throwing the stones at the animals. So that's very polite and very good. Okay, nice. So then, Alma.
5.11.
Yes.
Jambuka, the naked ascetic.
Mm-hmm.
A long time ago, a monk insulted an elder with the 4 kinds of insults and was reborn in the Abichi hell, where he suffered extreme torment for the space of an interval between 2 Buddhas. After his extreme torment, he was reborn in Rajagaha as Jambuka. Jambuka only ate poop, slept on the ground, pulled his hair with a palmari comb, and was naked. Because of this, his parents decided to put him in the order of the Ajivakas, but Jambuka was quickly kicked out. The Buddha, surveying the world with his divine eyes, saw Jambuka, so the teacher went to him and pronounced a stanza which made Jambuka attain arahantship.
That's right. So Jambuka was an ascetic who ate poop. He ate the feces of people. And so first they thought in his family that they will assign him to a group of ascetics, of hermits in the forest. But those hermits found out that Jambuka eats poop. So they also expelled him. And then Jambuka stayed close to the city, and he was eating poop, but he didn't want the people to know it. So instead, whenever people would approach him, he would assume some very unnatural posture, and he said that he feeds on air, because he's not getting any food, right? He doesn't get any food because he's fine with the feces, he's fine with the poop. So the people are wondering, what are you eating? And to believe that he's eating poop is not natural. Like you would not immediately believe that somebody eats poop. So, or you would not realize that unless you find out. So he was successful in covering it up. And so the people believed him that he's eating air. So they were giving him, all kinds of things, maybe clothes and nice things, whatever he wanted. So he would get that. So he was relatively well off, even though he was actually eating poop. And then one day the Buddha came up to Jambuka, and the Buddha asked Jambuka for a place to stay. Jambuka did not want the Buddha to stay anywhere close because he did not want the Buddha to find out. He probably didn't know that the Buddha knows that Jambuka eats poop. So in the end, the Buddha persuaded Jambuka that there is a place close by and that the Buddha will stay there. Jambuka agreed with that, and as the Buddha was there, I think the Brahma came there and there was light. Am I right, Amo? Yeah, so the Brahmas went there, the great gods went there, and Jambuka was wondering, why are there so big lights in the Buddha's place? What happened? And he found out that it's the Brahma who came to worship the Buddha. So that's usually the way how Buddha and Arahants convert people to Buddhism, that Brahmas come and worship them. For example, Venerable Sariputta, converted his mom exactly that way. Brahma's king worshipped Venerable Sariputta. His mom was wondering what's going on. She found out, and she gained faith, in her son, Sariputta. And so then the Buddha taught Dhamma to Jambuka, and Jambuka then attained enlightenment. We do not know whether Jambuka continued to eat poop, though, from the story. Or do we, Almon? We don't know, right? This is a funny thing. So we don't really know whether he stopped eating poop, but he became an arahant, so, well, what more to wish, right? Okay, so next. 5.9, Langhorn is not here. So let's see. Cho is not here either. So Sunday, 5.14.
Sita and Sudama. It's a bit of a long summary. After listening to the law from an elder, a wealthy householder named Sita obtained the fruit of conversion and had a monastery built in his garden to show his appreciation. Shortly after, he obtained the fruit of the second path from the two chief disciples as well. Elder Sudama, the resident monk, was angry that he was invited last and refused to visit despite Sita's persistence. When the elder passed his thoughts to the teacher scolded him and sent Sudama to go back and ask for pardon. Sita eventually did so after witnessing Sudama's sincerity, and the elder attained arahatship with the supernatural faculties. At this point, Sita decides to be time to go see the teacher in person and took 500 carts full of offerings and invited the congregation of monks and the congregation of nuns to go with him. When Sita arrived, he paid obeisance to the teacher, and a rain of celestial flowers fell as thousands of cries of applause went up.
That's all?
Mm-hmm.
Great, thank you very much. And Yaza, 5.15.
A 7-year-old novice wins the heart of all, 5.15. The poor Brahmin once gave alms to Elder Sariputta with anything he had, and because of that he was reborn in the womb of a woman supporting Elder Sariputta. When the Brahmin was born into his new life, he immediately gave his own blanket to the elder, and for this he received 1,000 blankets in the future, which he donated all of them to a congregation of monks. When he became 7, he decided to become a novice, and that was also the time he got 1,000 blankets. However, due to distractions, he went to a forest hermitage in a village, where the one who guided him there begged him to stay, which he agreed to, and visited the village often to receive alms, along with reciting the law when requested. He continued this way of life and attained arahatship.
What did he do in the village, or what happened at the time when he was going to the village?
He visited the village often to receive alms and recite the law when requested.
Oh, recite the law when requested. Okay.
Or Dhamma.
You understand the word law? Yes, the Dhamma. Perfect. Nice, very well. So, thank you very much for coming. Our time is nicely up. It was a pleasure to see everyone, and see you next week. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you be successful in everything you do.
Goodbye, Venerable.
Bye, Venerable Sir.
Yes, goodbye.